Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Minion Radio Show. I'm your host, DJ Carter. We deliver sports to the community the best way I can. Please tune in every Wednesday at 2 o'clock and listen to us on www.letgoradio.net. And also feel free to tune in on Facebook Live. We're looking forward to seeing you there.
All right, everybody, it's that time again, Wednesday afternoon at 2 p.m., and I am D to the J with the roll away, and alongside the Lord of Lunatics, Big Chuck in there with me. What's going on, brother?
Love me.
Always love him for the love he does not receive.
I don't get any love. Give me love.
He does not get any love. He needs love. It's depressing. Eat a Snickers. There we go. All right, so want to go over
I'm
just
always myself.
yeah, you are. That is very true. Couple of events to go over real quick. April, let's see.
Showers bring May flowers?
Yes, they do. April 29th at 6:30, the Kelly's Choice Board meeting, Kelly's Choice Cares Board meeting that will be at the radio station, 6212 Jefferson Avenue. July 14th, the anniversary of Kelly's Choice and the official launch of Kelly's Choice Cares. That will also be at the radio station. That'll be on July 14th from 4 to 7. And finally, November 16th, the Kelly's Choice Cares Gala Ball formal attire. That's going to look good and look fly. Oh, me, oh, my. That's where all of the nominees will be recognized for their activities in caregiving, and the Gala Ball is going to be great. So make sure to get your formal attire set out for that. That's also going to be from 4 to 7, possibly 8, somewhere in there. It may run just a little bit long. That is going to be at the Hub, 757-6801 Bridgeway Drive in Suffolk, 23435.
Is it actually a gala?
Yeah, Gala Ball.
No, is it a gala? Are you sure it's a gala?
Yes, it is a gala. Caregivers Gala. That's
gala.
Yes, that's what I'm sure.
We're going to have a gala?
Oh, my gracious. Oh, my gracious. Brother, you got to stop this, Brother Palsy. Now, come on, man. You're going to get people all wondering what's going on. Nobody's going to know nothing. All right, guys, want to welcome you to the Sports Minion Radio Show. Be sure to tune in, and you can call in and talk to us and show Brother Palsy
Tell
love.
me how much you love me.
757-774-7552. I'm sorry. And that was I'm not sure where he's going, but we're gonna stay with him though, because he is Brother Palsy, and
I'm always fun.
Well, 99.9% of the time. The other time you're sleeping, so you can't be.
Well, yeah, there is that small amount of time that I actually sleep.
All right, so I got to cover this. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. The Masters, man. I got a chance to watch it.
Boo!
Really?
Boo!
Tiger Woods, 43 years old, his 5th green jacket, one behind the great Jack Nicklaus.
Yes, I know.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him show
the adulterer, the drug addict.
Okay.
The multiple things. We're all excited that he wins.
Look here. You did not have to. You just punctured my balloon.
Hey, look, I'm just saying. I call it like it is.
I understand.
Has he been to IHOP lately?
Wow.
Is that where he's celebrating the Masters win? Picking up the IHOP hostess?
I'm not sure. As long as he puts her back down, everything will be okay. Y'all have to forgive him. He hasn't had his medicine today. So
I don't take medicine, bro.
You need to.
No. I just call it how I see it.
Good Lord, I got to tell you, I'm not sure what's going on, but
you're happy when I pick on Roethlisberger, for the same kind of stuff. But when I pick on one of your people that you idolize, I mean,
look, a golf club is much harder than a football, and it causes more damage in a smaller surface area.
Hey, look, congratulations, he won. It's great he won at 43 years old. But
now here's
let's call it like you see. I could care less.
Yeah, yes, he's done a lot of things, and I get that, and a lot of wrong things. I'm not saying by any means, the things that he's done are right, But look,
Are we supposed to forget that because he won the Masters?
No, I'm not saying.
Are we supposed to forgive him because he's good at golf?
I'm telling you what, Brother Palsy is irritable today.
I am not irritable.
Have you eaten?
We have talked. How many times have we talked about football players and what they do,
that's
and
true.
all the stuff they do off the field, and we hold them accountable for it? Why wouldn't we hold Tiger Woods accountable for his off the field antics too?
That's true. I agree. I'm just saying I'm happy that he won the Masters.
I'm not. And I'm just saying.
I'm going to back my chair up before I get a ball thrown at me, and I have another concussion aside from being.
Number one, I don't want him to beat Jack Nicklaus's record.
Just personal opinion. Think he's going to at 43 years old?
Nobody thought he was going to ever play golf well again.
I mean, he never thought he was going to play. I mean,
so all he needs is one to tie it.
Right.
And if I have to say, I would rather not someone who I don't think is a good influence anymore. When he was younger and when he kept his whatever in check,
there was a lot of whatever there.
I'm just saying that. And, people could look up to him, and young golfers could look up to him. That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had a little spree of whatever it is that he wanted to do.
And it came out to a little bigger spree than we were
used to. Oh, it was quite a bit.
Yeah, yep.
And
hey, Josh. Hey, Elizabeth. Welcome to the Sports Minion Radio Show. Thanks for tuning in. Brother Palsy is revved up to 98 miles an hour right now.
He has done stuff that I don't think we should celebrate what he's done.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I can tell you, I like I said, the stuff that he's done is not right, and I can understand that. But in the same sense, I'm happy he won the Masters. It was like I don't think I watched an entire 4 rounds of Masters golf in my entire age of being anything. I gotta tell you. Wow. I think Molinari came with it. He was 3 shots ahead, and one hole, the 15th hole, he got a double bogey on, and then back to back.
Well, the stress of the Masters. That's one good thing when Tiger was young,
mm-hmm.
before all his antics, before all his back problems,
mm-hmm.
before all his eye hopping.
That's one thing I won't do. Okay, we can definitely say
before all that, you could always guarantee on Sunday,
mm-hmm.
the end of this tournament, Tiger was going to show up no matter what he played before that.
Right.
So he is the stress that comes with playing the Masters for one, or any tournament, but the Masters being the Masters.
Mm-hmm.
Guys fall apart on that Sunday.
I mean, do you think the Masters tournament is the biggest tournament out of?
I think people consider it the biggest tournament.
Or do you think the PGA Championship is?
No, I think the Masters, because of what it is, how old it is,
mm-hmm.
Who has won it, it is still the biggest deal in golf.
My question, Tiger Woods aside, Molinari, he played tremendously, and he was ahead in rounds 1, 2, and 3. He carried. Tiger didn't come. I mean, he was there. He kept pace, and I think that's how he won, because he was able to keep pace. One mistake, and he capitalized on it, because his short game in the first 3 rounds was not there. I mean, round 3 and round 4 it started coming together, but inside of 10 feet he was struggling. Inside of 10 feet.
That shows his age. He used to, inside 10 feet, he was automatic.
Josh, I actually didn't used to like golf, but once I started understanding it, my brother introduced me to disc golf. I got a chance to watch him play a couple of times. I've been on a couple of golf courses. It's fun. Now, it's not fun to get hit with the ball, which is why I ended up in the chair in the first place.
So it shouldn't have got in my way.
I'm sorry. You said,
look, it would have been a hole-in-one if your big butt hadn't gotten in my way.
I thought you said 3. You said 4, and then I wasn't in the chair anymore.
There you go.
But I was very close to the green, I will say. Didn't know I could roll that far.
Well, you hit the ball hard enough.
I landed in the fairway right on the edge of the green. But I actually enjoyed it. I think it was I'm surprised that they're able to play in the weather. And you know what got me about the whole Masters tournament was it rained for about, I would say, 30 minutes in the third round, and the greens were so slow. I mean, they were so perfect when they started, and
like glass.
And then all of a sudden, once you get to that rain soaks up, and the water
slows everything.
Yeah, that's an amazing thing.
I mean, knowing golf because I play golf, the green starts standing up
and makes it
even slower. It's harder to read because there is no.
The words are hard.
No, it's harder to read.
Oh, from left to right.
The green is harder to read.
Yeah.
Slow, fast.
Yeah.
Left, right.
Yeah.
All those things because typically, the blades fall down. They lay.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell which side is going to be faster. You can see the break in that's what they're doing when they're walking back and forth
trying to
figure out how the break is. It's hard to do when it's rained.
Now you've got bad knees, bad ankles, bad hips,
bad everything.
I mean, you are truly bad to the bone, and I mean in a good way.
No, not in a good way.
How hard? I mean, looking at 2 back surgeries, 2 knee surgeries. When all of this was happening, how hard is it to overcome things like that and be able to play again?
It depends. I mean, of course he doesn't have the torque he used to. A lot of it's not about size in golf. It's about torque.
Mm-hmm.
How much you can wind up like a corkscrew and unleash.
Yeah.
That's why some of the smallest guys hit some of the farthest balls.
It's that golf swing, and it's the same way every time.
Well, it's gotta be.
That's the repetitive thing of golf. And if they mess up just a little bit, by a degree, it was amazing to me after it rained and the wind picked up just a little bit because of when the ball would bounce, it would severely go to the right or to the left. I mean, and that's the thing. I'm just amazed at how quickly it changed.
Oh, it don't take much.
Well, since Tiger Woods has gotten his 5th, we'll see what happens with the 6th, and I'll watch it next year. Moving on, Adam Thielen of the Minnesota Vikings has been granted a rather lengthy extension.
Why? He just signed a contract.
A 4-year extension, $64 million, $35 million guaranteed. Now, that's nothing on what Russell Wilson got because as of right now, Russell Wilson is the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And I think Thielen's a good receiver. I don't think he's worth $65 million. I really don't. But I can't, or $64 million. I can't justify that. But looking at Russell Wilson, he just signed the biggest contract ever, $140 million, 4 years, $175 million or $107 million guaranteed, and he gets $65 million of it right away.
Well, that's great, except for taxes.
You could buy a lot of ice cream with $65 million.
Does he like ice cream?
I'm not sure. I'll have to ask him.
Or are you just playing on what you would buy?
Russell, call in to the Sports Mini Radio Show.
And let us know what you're going to spend that $65 million on.
Because we said last week that Chuck wouldn't be a Baskin-Robbins flavor. I was trying to come back off of that, but I couldn't do it.
I'm Super Warhead.
Yep, that is not a Baskin-Robbins flavor. So just looking at this now, we're talking about, it's $1.5 million more than Aaron Rodgers is making.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers!
And he's got some heat right now.
Oh yeah, you see, when he came out and started talking about the coach, and he showed a little bit about. I wasn't lying.
Well,
he got his coach fired.
The bad part about this is Randall Cobb and Greg Jennings. The article that came out. And, it was pretty rough. And, obviously, Aaron Rodgers is denying it. And he got Brett Favre to actually, when he was with him, talk with him. And Brett Favre said he's the greatest quarterback in the game. When you make a mistake, you can't cover it over with frosting.
You can if you're baking a cake.
Well, if I knew you were coming, I would have baked one. Okay.
But when you're playing football, it's kind of hard to cover anything with frosting.
You are right about that, because if you cover frosting on the ball there, you're not going to be able to catch it.
Then Deflategate happens, oh my Lord.
I don't know. I just, we just talked about it. Play the game, people. I mean, it's there's enough drama going around with everybody. I mean,
look, some people love drama.
And some people need it. Some people have to.
Some people thrive on drama. Some people are not happy unless they're unhappy.
I agree. I know people like that. I mean, it just is. But when you're making the money that you're making,
money don't fix nothing.
Apparently not.
You can't buy happiness with money.
You can sure try.
No.
You can
Spend it. You can pretend to be happy. You can get all the fake friends in the world.
Yep, but then when the money's gone,
but money doesn't solve problems.
Yep.
It creates new ones.
Yeah, that's what they told me. They could have rebuilt me. They had the technology. They just ran out on the bottom half. And that was the end of that.
Well, they sure spent a whole lot on the front half.
And we're live on the Sports Minion Radio Show as we talk about my tremendous girth of stomachness.
He's invested a lot of money in that.
That's what Pop used to say.
That's where all the money that he could have walked with went.
Well, I could have, but gravity took over in that situation. I look at these guys and I'm wondering, when, and this is not going to stop. It's going to keep.
Oh, it's good. As long as the cat keeps growing. As long as there's exceptional players, this will happen.
And I wonder, is Goodell going to finally say, this is too much?
Goodell has no say in it. He's got to work with the players' union. He's got to work with all the. I mean, that's why there's a players' association to help the players. What is going to have to happen?
Yeah,
is there's going to the XFL and AFL and the Canadian Football League. They're all going to have to succeed.
Yeah.
To thin out the NFL. So that it forces players to have more options so that they can't just get that kind of money.
And it's going to take someone with deep pockets, for that to happen.
But it's going to take everybody, getting into it, which is tough because the NFL is the mainstay.
Right. And I can understand that. I mean, speaking of the XFL, Kevin Gilbride, the Giants offensive coordinator, has just been named the head coach of the New York team that hasn't even been named yet. But I mean, you're looking at, at least they've got some experience there. When they
as long as they don't have Hackenberg as their starting quarterback, then it might be okay for a while.
Yeah, but we talked a little bit about it. I mean, you've got to have the fan support, of course,
and that's the problem. I mean, look at the arena football. It almost folded. If it hadn't been stepped in for Elway and John Bon Jovi and all these guys stepping in and investing and getting it back going again at a smaller league, it wouldn't have made it.
I mean, does it take the big name players to get it going though? I mean, as far as notoriety?
I am by no means an expert in how to start a sports franchise. Yes, it takes fans. I mean, they're the ones that pay for it. So you have to have something to draw them there.
Right. And is that, the excitement level? What are we talking about? I mean,
I'm sure a fan, big names. But how do you get those big names? How do you get them away from the NFL when you can't afford to pay $140 million over 4 years?
Yeah. And I mean, that's so the money is not there. I mean, per se, so you can't do what you really want to do to get those big
unless you're a gazillionaire. I mean, if the XFL wanted to spend that kind of money,
right,
and go into debt right away to get all these big names, that would be great. They could do it,
right? But
they can't.
I mean, so you think it's going to last a year?
I'll give it a year,
maybe two,
if it's decent in the beginning. But who knows? I mean, it takes the fans catching into it. I used to go to arena games all the time in Orlando. I was a Predator fan.
Yeah.
And but if you had 5,000 people in the stadium, That was a big game.
Right.
That's not a lot to have to be able to pay for all the players and the umps and all the insurances.
The stadium
rent
itself.
the stadium
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
that. I mean, and the tickets weren't nothing.
So I mean, it was people helping out to get the Arena Football League to stick, sort of.
Well, yeah. I mean, John Bon Jovi had to buy a team. He owns the Barnstormers, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Elway had to buy a team. Big name people had to buy a team, and kind of, and they had to shrink the league.
I've been hearing some rumors, and I want to get your opinion on this, just with Peyton Manning. I mean, as far as, do you think he would coach? I mean, he's been out of it now, 2 years, looking at where he's going to go. Do you think he might?
No.
How come?
Because, as I've said before, most players don't make good coaches.
Really?
Name me famous players, people who were long-term career players, not, a year or two and then went into coaching.
Yeah, you're
Name
right.
me a big player that's become a great coach.
Well, and I can't say Mike Singletary because
He was a horrible coach.
Russ Grimm was there. I mean, he was,
Russ Grimm was an offensive guy, and he weren't like a big name. He was, he was a hawk, but he, weren't like he was Peyton Manning.
Oh, Bill Belichick celebrated his birthday the other day, man. Happy birthday, Big Bill. Gotta tell you.
Yeah, the hoodie.
All right, give us a smile, just
a little one.
just a
little one.
I tell you, I mean, it is amazing to me, But look, you're right. You don't see a lot of.
It's a different mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a whole completely different mindset to be a player versus a coach, and then the whole mentality of, those who can't teach.
You didn't see who coaching there, Josh? Just
He's talking about Manning.
Oh yeah.
Well, our conversation, he's keeping up.
Yeah, I honestly think at the quarterback position, there's few better. I mean, I think especially dealing with the quarterbacks themselves. I thought maybe he would get into it.
What player, especially that has made a lot of money, and done it smartly, investment and things, who wants to spend 70, 80, 90 hours a week to be a coach?
That's true too. And the wear and tear is.
I mean, look at Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
He complains they don't spend enough time, and they're always there.
Yeah.
Coaching. If you listen to Sims, Chris Sims,
right?
He was in the office as a coach for a little while. And he was a quarterback, and not a very good one. Let's make that clear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was okay. Career backup style quarterback.
I mean,
but he didn't want to invest them kind of hours.
I mean, Steve Mariucci and Brian Billick. I mean, but with the Ravens especially, he was probably one of the ones that really put his feet in the ground and kind of ran with it.
Do you know him as a player?
No.
There you go.
I mean, but I mean that's the last one I can think of.
The difference is, I mean, those guys didn't make millions of dollars playing football.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't see anybody going from $1 million football player to coach.
Yeah.
I don't care how much they pay.
What's up, Blake? Thanks for joining us on the Sports Minion Radio Show. We appreciate it. Guys, if you want to comment and call in on this, do me a favor. Give us a call at 757-774-7552 and talk to the Sports Minions.
Just tell me how awesome I am. That would be great. I don't care.
Or you know what? Give him a cookie. Send us
I can't have cookie.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. You can't. Give him a no-carbs cookie.
Give me a no-carb cookie.
He
Give me a piece of cardboard.
He can have lots of meat. Send him steaks.
Yeah. Please don't poison me.
All right, so I have to talk about this because, well, I saw it. This concerns me because I don't know if he's playing a game here to kind of get everybody away from it. General Manager Steve Keim of the Arizona Cardinals is saying he doesn't know what he's going to do with the first pick of the NFL draft. Everyone is saying that he's going to go after Kyler Murray. Now, here's the thing. Kyler Murray, I just found out yesterday, was scheduled to meet with Washington on Friday.
Oh, please, no.
But thank God they took the visit off because they were not going to go after him, and they shouldn't. But why would I mean?
We talked about this a million times. For some reason, Arizona wants that They want their own Kurt Russell.
Russell
Wilson. Yes, they want their own Kurt Russell.
That's a good actor.
Yeah, he is pretty good. They want their own Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I don't think Kyler Murray is the next Russell Wilson, but hey, I think they're just trying to lead people away to get rid of the talk while they make a deal to get rid of their current quarterback,
Josh Rosen.
Mm-hmm.
So you think he's gone? I mean, do you think?
I think if they're actually serious about getting Murray, they got to do something with Rosen because he's got a good hunk of money, so they got to deal him somehow.
Right.
And I think the only team stupid enough to take him would be the Redskins.
And they were talking about that happening. They're talking about trading Keenum to try to get even there was a story about trying to get Derek Carr from the Raiders.
Derek Carr would be a better choice than Rosen.
I agree with that 100%.
But I don't think Carr is everything he's cracked up to be.
And going back to Kyler Murray, everybody is saying his draft is now falling because they're seeing the problem with some of the 5'9" and the height issue and
everybody. I mean, that's I think. Other than the Cardinals, I think the only reason he'll get drafted in the first round would be the Cardinals or somebody who has a first round pick to waste, which I don't really understand how you would have a first round pick to waste.
Right.
But
right.
Well,
and the thing about, everybody is saying that Josh Rosen, the Kingsbury likes Josh Rosen, and now they want to keep him. So
I think that's all smokescreen. I think the day of the draft we'll find out before the draft because if they trade away Rosen, then we know what they're doing.
Yep. And we got to see. I just feel bad for Case Keenum in this situation.
Who cares? He's used to it.
But he's there. Possibly just as trade bait.
He got them almost to the Super Bowl and got traded.
Yeah.
Or got cut. Didn't even resign for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, so apparently everybody's better than.
Let me say this with the most compassion I can. What a brilliant move that was. Kurt, I'm so happy for you. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to lie on the air. Kurt, I'm really, really happy. No,
don't work that way.
I'm not. I just want to see, Josh Rosen is decent. I want to see him in a.
Is he?
Hold on. I want to see him in a system that fits. I want to see him with, aside from, Fitzgerald, we talked about, being able, Murray being a runner, that's a disadvantage because you get hit in the leg.
The problem with Rosen is you don't know.
Yeah.
You invest in an inning not knowing, and only thing you got is that he stunk that first year.
Yeah.
Now, is it his issue? Maybe not.
Right. It's part of it at least.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He could just stink. He could just be horrible.
He could be another Ryan Leaf.
Yeah. Or Heath Schuler.
Oh God. Oh. I can't. What do you say to that? I can't.
So who knows? So do you take a chance on him?
Yeah. I get it.
He could, but then again, he could be the next. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Going back to Aaron for a minute.
Oh Lord.
How do people not see the problem here?
With what, Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, with what he's done, effectively getting his coach fired, bad-mouthing his players. Now the players that used to team with, and now they come back and they rapid fire, and it becomes this big ball of. How does it not affect the team for the leader to be there? And they're saying, if he's going to do that to them, what's it going to take?
It's all right. So now I'm not a Rodgers fan.
Obviously, I'm not either.
I know you're not because he dethroned your
Brett Favre,
football god.
I will.
Brett Favre is the greatest football player to ever play the game.
And the game with the yard lines in the end zone, that's football.
Okay, so we know you don't. But I will not deny that he's one of the top 3 quarterbacks playing the game right now. I'm not going to ask. I will put him in the top 10 of greatest of all time. So, do you get rid of that?
From an experience level, I would say no. I mean, but you don't want to, in the same sense, you don't want to cause turmoil on your team either.
How do you replace a top 10 all-time quarterback?
Have Bill Belichick coach the team?
Short of that,
I mean, I don't know. I think that and I do want to comment on the Patriots too because I saw something very interesting before I forget this. They had a mock draft with Drew Lock actually going to the Patriots. I don't think it's going to happen.
No way.
But it was an interesting little.
If they draft Drew Lock, they know something that we don't. Brett Favre's last year is next year. Not Brett Favre. God, got me talking about Brett Favre.
Look.
Tom Brady's last year is next year if they draft Drew Lock.
Well, I mean, they don't. I really don't think they have anybody behind Brady right now because Brady's got at least I would say 2 years.
If he plays as long as he wants to play, he's got 3 more years. So you can't have Drew Lock sitting behind Tom. Now, the only last time that's happened was where Aaron Rodgers sitting behind Favre.
And because see, I get some of the turmoil there. He sat so long that he got frustrated, and they had to do something. They had to move from Brett Favre. I'm sorry, Brett. I'm sorry.
But with the new contracts, the rookie contracts limiting money, you can't sit him there that long.
Right.
Because he'll be coming out. You don't know anything about him. He'll be coming out of his first year of his rookie contract on that 4th year.
Right.
And you're going to have to pay him.
Now, here's the thing. You've talked about this with me. You've talked about it with yourself. Age catches up with you. As you know, another year in, Rodgers has been hurt. He's had constant knee problems. I mean, and he does. I don't think he's as good as Brady. Everybody else can say all they want about him. I don't think he is as good as Brady. I would probably say the closest to Brady that I've seen now that he's changed.
I agree.
Russell Wilson, I would say.
No, I think Aaron Rodgers will probably be the closest to Tom Brady that plays right now.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is a good quarterback.
I don't think that Aaron Rodgers has the same pocket presence that Brady has. I mean,
he has more mobility though, and he can extend the play.
You think he has more?
Tom Brady has 0 mobility. 18 years it took him to get 1,000 yards in rushing.
Well, I still
18 years.
Well, but he got it.
He finally got it last year.
All right, so I wish I could remember his name. The offensive lineman from Washington, 6'7". He was on NFL Network all last week. I think his last name's Barry, I think, but I cannot remember.
Is he new?
This kid, I saw him do a couple of drills with the coaches and everything, and one of the coaches goes, "I've got long arms," and he reaches out and does it. And the offensive lineman goes, "You have long arms?" Boom! He goes, "Oh crap! What do I do now?" It's amazing to me. This kid, they had a story on him.
How did we go from one to another? Finish the first.
Hold on, I'm going back there in just a second. You take a person with mobility and being able to. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers has Brett Favre on speed dial. I agree. He just has to hit the right number. I think, talking about a person with great ability, because Aaron Rodgers does have ability and can throw the ball well. I just don't see him as that maneuverable quarterback.
I didn't say he was a maneuverable quarterback. I said he's more maneuverable than Tom Brady.
Am I more maneuverable than Tom Brady?
Yes, I think you're actually probably more maneuverable than Tom Brady.
Well,
now, you have to understand, Tom Brady takes 3 steps, moves around the pocket periodically, and throws it away or dumps it off. That's his mobility. If there is 20 yards ahead of him between him and the next guy, he'll get 5.
Right.
Before that guy closes in.
Because he's going to slide at 4.5.
He's going to slide at 5. There ain't no, but, Aaron Rodgers has a little more. I mean, Dan Marino had more mobility than Tom Brady most of his career. And Marino wasn't a mobile quarterback.
We're talking about the not the Dolphin itself, right? Just the quarterback.
Just the quarterback.
That's scary. I'm confused because I do want to say this. I was taking a look. The draft's a week away. We're coming up
already
on Thursday. Foster was cleared to play. He's going to be fined 2 game checks. They got him. Reuben Foster back in.
Well, they didn't get it back. He'll be his first game playing for him.
Right.
But that's a good thing because they needed to replace some linebackers.
Right. So that helps out. So now
that gives them some speed there too.
My question is, and you and I have said this 100 times. It doesn't matter who is back there at quarterback. If your offensive line is not able to protect, it doesn't matter who's back there. I mean, you have to have a moderate to decent offensive line.
There's been years that the Patriots have had less than moderate offensive lines.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can throw the ball within 2.5 seconds, it changes how a team plays.
The release does, yeah. That's true.
So,
that's true.
I mean, if you are a quarterback that has to hold the ball to find open receivers, and your scheme doesn't allow for quick passes, then yes, it matters desperately for your line. The Redskins need a great line.
Yeah,
the way they play their offense, they have to have a great line.
I agree, 100%.
But there are teams where the line doesn't matter as much
because the quarterback can get rid of the ball so quickly,
and make decisions, or they play a type of offense that allows the quarterback to get rid of the ball before anybody can even get near it.
And looking at the quarterback position, whether it's Drew Lock, whether it's Kyler Murray, whether it's Hopkins, Dwayne Haskins, sorry. The one thing about Haskins, and he did meet, I believe, with the Redskins because they've talked about that, his ability to see, he doesn't use his eyes to throw. He doesn't guide the ball with his eyes, and a lot of corners and safeties and linebackers pick up on that instantaneously. He is look this way, throw that way, which is smart. And I think that a lot of quarterbacks are having to adapt their game because of the speed of the linebackers and because of the way they're reading the plays.
And not even just the linebackers, the linemen. When you got defensive ends running, 4.6s.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're 280 pounds running 4.6. You got to be able to throw the ball fast. You got to make good decisions. When you got 6'7" guys that can just blitz down, amazingly speed, and your linemen have to change. And the styles of these giant linemen, the Hogs would never make it nowadays,
right? Because of the adaptation of the So do they? Do they use Reuben Foster as a blitzer?
He's a middle linebacker.
So but he'll drop back into coverage. Do you think
he's your other Zach Brown? He is your 2 guys. Zach Brown and Reuben Foster will be your guys that cover or block up the middle or watch the run up the middle. Your outside linebackers, Kerrigan and Smith or whoever else they have Preston on the other side.
Right.
They are your rushers / whatever. So in a 3-4, you have 3 down linemen. You have a defensive tackle and 2 defensive ends, or depending on how you're playing, 2 defensive tackles and a defensive end with one of your linebackers playing on the line.
Right. That's why I like a 4-3 better than a 3-4, because it seems like to me when you have 4 down linemen, the pressure to me, seems to go up the middle quicker and cause that pocket to collapse.
Depends. If you have 4 good rush linemen, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to get any. If your guys aren't moving the line, the pressure has to come. So you're taking people out of coverage to do it.
Yep.
In a 3-4, you can blitz or move that 4th guy from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You have 4 linebackers that can rush.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know if the Redskins are going to draft a quarterback. I think they should draft a receiver.
It depends on what they're going to do.
We really need a receiver.
They really need a scheme.
Yeah.
They really need to decide who they are before they go and do anything.
But that's the last football story we got. I want to move to something very interesting. Actually, it made me laugh when I read this. Cincinnati Reds starter Luis Castillo had to forget Monday night, and I'll tell you why. Well, maybe a hit he forgot while batting in the top of the 3rd inning in Monday's game against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Castillo fought a Clayton Kershaw fastball and dropped the ball into the right field. Now, here's the thing. He couldn't see where the ball was, and he didn't think it was fair. So after the ball drops and it goes fair, he doesn't run. He cost his team a run and cost his team the inning.
Hanging!
Oh, we can't do that on the air. They don't have a rope long enough. I mean,
how dare he?
Is it not taught in baseball now pretty much if the ball hits the ground, run? I mean, that's
what it was taught.
Okay.
I've played baseball for years and years and years. If I made contact with the bat, I'm running.
Yeah.
The problem is, just like in football, baseball, when you make millions of dollars, you don't always do what you're supposed to do.
And that's
just like if you watch nowadays the power hitters, when they hit a ground ball and don't run it out,
mm-hmm.
They wouldn't play for me.
Right.
I mean, come on now. Yeah, you're most likely out, but anything can happen.
Yeah, and you've got to give 100%. Now, here's the thing. The reason I wanted to point out this story is because last night the Nationals played a game, and of course they lost the game. But David Martinez got thrown out because the umpire was so inconsistent in the strike zone. And
no excuse.
I mean that's
no excuse.
We're talking about balls up here.
No excuse.
Look,
the umpires are very rarely consistent.
When you have the broadcaster saying, "What the heck is he doing?"
They do that all the time. I've watched hundreds of games where the broadcasters say, "Why is this strike zone all over the place?" He might call that a strike.
Mm-hmm.
You foul it away.
Well, I mean,
don't blame the ump because you chose to let balls go by that you knew could be called a strike.
But the other thing is the coaches got to keep their head too. You can't You can't come on the field because you coming on the field and getting hyped up and getting upset affects your team, and you can't coach because you're thrown off the field.
But sometimes a team needs that too.
What do you mean?
Sometimes a lackadaisical team or feeling down, that coach get on the field and putting a fire under their butt.
So it's a kick in the rear, effectively.
Sometimes that team needs a fire.
Yeah.
So sometimes that coach standing up for them, getting mad and getting thrown out is a purposeful thing.
Well, and again, FP said this. Look, he's standing up for his player, and he likes that, and it does put a fire in him. But in the same sense, you've got to be smart about it because you getting suspended from a game.
Yeah.
I mean that's
sometimes it's emotional.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a strategy.
But you see it in all sports. You see it in football.
Same thing.
Yeah, you see it in football.
Sometimes it is just emotion getting a hold of them. Sometimes it's a strategy to help.
It's frustration.
Well, that's all the emotional.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just do stupid stuff because the emotions get to them and they're angry. and other times it's a strategy.
That's true, Josh. They may do that for entertainment. There may be some entertainment. Now, if we see
Because baseball players got a lot of money, got to pay a lot of money. They need anything they can do.
I tell you what, if we see a suplex on the diamond, I'm gonna not tune away from it.
Well, look, that's why there's fights allowed back in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they took it away, nobody watched.
Yep. You took away our fight, and we're not gonna watch
It was boring.
I would not make it on the hockey arena because the first person that comes at me, I'm gonna hit him with this. I don't think we could try. I mean, put a boot on the tire. I'll just go around.
Slide in the direction. Put some chains on the tire. Yeah, I don't think tearing the ice up will do anything.
Oh my gracious! I fell through.
See ya.
That's Chuck. Yeah,
Wouldn't want to be ya.
I'll come get you next week when it falls, or next year when.
I'll bring out the Zamboni. You're gonna die in 5 minutes.
I was hoping you'd bring out that scene. I'm gonna floor it. And he's still like 30 feet away.
If anybody doesn't know that scene, well, where have you been all your lives?
Oh,
But then we're talking about Deadpool.
a great scene. Great scene. Great movie. Great person. Good Deadpool for president, I should say. All right.
Good Deadpool.
Let me ask you this because I got a couple more comments coming in here. Should be able to. Yep. I read this story on Antonio Brown, and there was a
crime lord Antonio Brown.
I'm telling you, it's getting to be that point now because basically there was a furniture throwing incident. Now, I've read a lot of headlines in my life, but this furniture throwing incident was allegedly a 18-month-old child was in there. The dad of the child was going to sue Antonio Brown. He threw furniture. He threw everything. Antonio Brown said,
allegedly.
No.
Let's.
Yep, that's allegedly. Then Antonio Brown said, no, that wasn't me. That was the other person that was there. It was settled outside of court. Okay, good and great. Now, here we go.
My question is, whether it's Antonio Brown or one of his friends, if it's one of your friends, how do you let them do it, for number one?
Mm-hmm.
And why do you have people that would throw furniture around you?
And I mean, seriously, that's
being who you are.
Exactly.
Why would you have people that will throw furniture around you?
Knowing the person, knowing the hype that you get and the media that you get, and you can't live a normal life. Now, all of that's been settled outside of court, but here's the issue. Where he was living, the place that he was living at is suing him now, supposedly, allegedly suing him because of the condition that he left the place in that he lived. So, I mean, Antonio Brown just continues to have drama follow him everywhere he goes.
Devil's advocate, sometimes players who have bad reputations get ghost stories.
Mm-hmm.
People pile on and people make crap up just because they think everybody will believe it because there's a whole bunch of other stuff already out there. Not saying that's the case or not, but who knows? You know, he may be the sweetest, nicest guy in the world. Oh, sorry.
I couldn't do
that with a straight face.
Guys, he tried. He really did. He took a second, had to take a deep breath, but he couldn't get it. But see, here's the thing. Whether it's a ghost story or not, you know, as a high profile, that's what I was looking for earlier. As a high profile individual, you know you're going to a new team. You want to make a good impression on that new team, no matter how good you are, and they know how good you are and how good you can do on the field. What does it do, and how do you avoid the paparazzi, so to speak, of the negative? You behave, and that is the name of the game. And it's like when, who was it? Plexico Burress? That was the one from the Giants.
That shot himself in the leg? Yeah. In a nightclub in New York with an unregistered gun that fell down his pants?
That was a story and a half. I can't even comment on that because, well, from the chair point, it just wouldn't be right.
Yeah.
And can people not just play the game anymore?
There was a little while we were going through. They cleaned up the Cincinnati Bengals, which were all criminals.
Mm-hmm.
They had done some, house cleaning in the NFL, and things were going a little. They were starting to look like And then the last couple of years, it goes back again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be tough. I hope the Raiders can actually coexist with him, and I hope he can coexist with the Raiders.
Sports people have never been accused of being completely smart or good decision makers. It is well documented that football players, baseball players, star players in colleges and high school get pushed through the system. So, hey, that may be a case.
But
I've always thought Antonio Brown was a smart guy.
Yeah.
I mean, but
the last 2 years have just kind of
kind of deflated that thought process.
I'm going, oh man, just sit down. It's okay. Take a deep breath. But anyway, we'll have to see what happens. A couple of things I want to cover here just before we end the show. Heather, this is for you. I know you. Heather Lee had asked me to do a little bit on the Lucha Libre style of wrestling. Why we don't see a lot of that anymore with WWE. Again, that is based on the Rey Mysterios. We have the 205 Live, but a lot of those guys, even in Mustafa Ali, Buddy Murphy,
they're not luchadors.
They're not luchadors. They're not. That has kind of gone. Lucha Underground is probably the best influence for Lucha Libre wrestling with Jushin Thunder Liger, who's on his retirement tour. Psychosis. I mean, you've got. Conan at one time was considered, one of the luchadors that coming up in WCW, Billy Kidman, Perry Saturn, those guys that were doing the Lucha Libre style wrestling. But I mean, to me, it is so high flying and so fast paced that a lot of that is in New Japan. Some of it is in New Mexico. I mean, they're trying, I think they're trying to push some of it, but to have the actual Lucha Libre style, I only think you're going to have it in New Mexico, really.
New Mexico?
I mean,
the state New Mexico, or actually in Mexico?
In Mexico.
Well, that's where it's from.
Right.
I mean, it started in Mexico. And so I think, especially right now with all the issues between Mexico and the United States and wanting to build a wall and all that. I think, image-wise, is some of it.
Right. So they backed off on that because of the issues there. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the high fly now, is taken over by the women. I mean,
in mainstream. Yeah. 205 for a lot of high flyers.
Yeah.
But big guys can't do it anymore. They get hurt too fast.
We were talking a little bit about this. The with the Iconics winning the titles. I have to
talk about that.
I have to talk about the Iconics. Yeah. That's pretty much how they sound, like nails on a chalkboard. But I will say
they sound like someone's beating a helium balloon.
Very badly.
Yeah.
Very, very badly. But their wrestling has much improved. And they WWE brought down Kairi Sane and. They brought down, teamed her up with Asuka. I mean, so that was, great. They had a good match the other night. I mean, but the Lucha Libre style, I think the closest that you're going to see, like Chuck said, is the 205 Live, and with the issues of
in Luchador Underground.
Lucha Underground, you're going to see a lot of that. But Rey Mysterio is still doing what he can. Lars Sullivan just.
What is the one guy that used to be the Luchadors that they bounced into the trampoline?
Oh gosh. Lucha House Party.
Lucha Dragons.
Yeah, Lucha Dragons.
What was one of the one that still wrestles?
Kalisto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's still a couple of those guys in there.
Right. So but they don't have a lot of the high
But they never have.
Well, I mean, since WCW ended, that kind of
even in WCW there weren't a ton of luchadors.
There was for a while especially when
luchadors are Mexican.
Right, I understand that. But when Rey Mysterio came in and Psychosis and Juventud Guerrera and all of them were in,
but they weren't all Mexican.
Right, but
some of them were Japanese wrestlers.
Ultimate
Dragon, and they're not considered luchadors.
But again, once WCW was taken over, a lot of that went down, and you're pretty much only going to find you have some but not a lot. There was a question from
lots of questions.
One of the fans about Cooking with Carter. I do want to cover this real
He
quick.
can't cook.
All right, now stop that. You got your shot in. There you go. Cooking with Carter is still going on. I'm doing that through Facebook now and putting the videos on YouTube. I don't have a camera person to do it. Emily's training on that. We have not. We did an episode about 2 weeks ago, but I have not put the episode up yet. I work pretty much every day.
Maybe we should do Cooking with Brother Palsy.
Maybe we should. Maybe we should. We do everything else with him. Why not bring?
Why not?
All right. So maybe that's a question for next week. Do we bring Brother?
No.
Maybe
No, I didn't say do it with you. I said do Cooking with Brother Palsy. Not Brother Palsy and Palsy.
Hey, Palsy and Palsy. Could that be a law firm?
Palsy and Palsy Cooking Firm.
Oh, jeez. Here we go. So that's a good one. But Cooking with Carter is still on the air, and we're still having fun. But I mean, as far as everything that's going, I still enjoy it. It's a lot harder when you don't have the staff and the people to work with. I mean,
And skill.
Okay, according to Brother Palsy, and
Actually, I do have to admit, I had a couple of the shrimp he cooked the other night that he sent over home, and they were actually good.
Oh dear Lord! Mark it on your calendars.
Please.
I got a comment.
Copy that. Cut it, because you probably will never hear it again.
Brother Palsy just did not insult his brother. He gave him love. Now do the same thing for Brother Palsy. Call in next week, 757-774-7552, where the Sports Minion and the other Sports Minion, Brother Palsy, will be here.
Why do you keep changing my name?
You have so many. It's the man of many talents, Brother.
I am just talented. I'm not a man of many talents. I'm talented at everything.
See, I tried to comment, and he wanted a better comment, and I still didn't do a good job, and I'm getting emotional, and I don't want to talk about it, but I don't know. And Big Steve joins in with the last 4 minutes of the show. What's up, Steve? Thank you for joining in, brother. I know you're probably on lunch break at work.
What'd you bring us for lunch?
Tacos.
Oof, can't have them.
Hamburger.
I can have a hamburger.
A hot dog. I think Miss Winnie is over there laughing so hard she's going to fall out the chair. Look, y'all can't make her laugh while she eat because we ain't going to have stuff go across the studio. We don't have
when she tries to eat, and man, it goes everywhere.
I mean, especially when Chuck starts talking.
Chili everywhere, people. Chili everywhere.
Food in and short.
Food down. Food down.
Look, that's going to do it for this week and the Sports Minion Radio Show. Y'all know y'all can follow us on Twitter at The Sports Minion Radio Show at Minion Sports. Follow us on Facebook at Chuck Carter and the Sports Minion Radio Slow. Radio Slow.
Slow.
I'm sorry. Words are hard. Follow us at the Sports Minion Radio Show /Facebook. Also, you can email us at the Sports Minion Radio Show. Do you detect the pattern here? The Sports Minion Radio Show at yahoo.com. Last closing comments. We got the Battle of the Seven Cities coming up. It's coming up on June 1st. I just want to get this out there because I promised Master Dark I would do it. We got the Battle of the Seven Cities coming up. It's going to be June 1st. And
I need to get paid for my time after dark.
Oh, my God. Don't listen to him. Saturday, June 1st, 2019. Location, St. Patrick's Catholic School Gymnasium, 1000 Bowling Avenue, Norfolk, Virginia, 23508. We have the Bicycle Grand Champion for 12 and under, 13 and 17. We have the, for Kata, we have $400 in a belt for the Grand Championship. And for men's and women's sparring, we have $400 in a belt. So y'all come out.
Come out and heckle him.
I'll tell y'all what, y'all got to get me ready. Got to get me ready because I'm gonna hopefully do good in this tournament. And please don't heckle me. Y'all don't listen to him.
Heckling!
No.
Heckling!
That's all I need. Now, see, this is going to be your fault. I'm going to come home in 2 chairs. I don't know why.
Oh,
that's going to do it for me.
You can't imagine the stuff I could say if y'all heckle him.
Miss Winnie said, you got this, win some money. I'm going to try to, Miss Winnie. Y'all come out and support us. $10 for the spectators fee, and children 5 and under are free. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Sports Minion Radio Show. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. And remember, we deliver sports to the community the most entertaining way we can. We'll see you when we see you.
Love me.
Peace.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Sports Minion Radio Show. I'm your host, DJ Carter. Thanks for listening. Remember, you can catch us every Wednesday at 2 o'clock on www.letgoradio.net as well as Facebook Live. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. See you next time.